Hi guys, Dr. Drwendydearborne here from Food Beyond Its Nutrition with another delicious recipe. This is Ackee rundown with smoked mushrooms. Delicious.
Okay guys, we are making ackee, and it's ackee rundown, which is ackee in a coconut. It's in a coconut sauce. The coconut sauce isn't thick. It can be if you want it to be, but in this instance, no, the coconut sauce is going to be the gravy. So we're going to make ackee rundown, and ackee is, for all intents and purposes, one of the national dishes of Jamaica. It comes from a tree. It's actually a fruit. It comes from a tree, and in order to use ackee, the actual ackee, fruit itself has to be ripe, which means that it has to have opened by itself. If you force it to open, it can be hazardous to your health. So you need to know what you're doing if you're going to pick ackee. I get mine in a can. This comes from Amazon. The unfortunate thing is that you never know what's in the can, meaning the ackee, and I'll show you when I show you how to prepare the dish, the actual ackee, the fruit of the ackee, it's so fragile, and if it's over processed and or handled badly, it just turns to mush. So anyway guys, we're gonna get started. For the rundown, of course, I'm gonna be using my favorite, and that's coconut milk, and I'm gonna show you what else is on the chopping board. Okay guys, what we need in order to make the ackee rundown is this, okay? We're gonna need ackee, and I have a can of ackee, which is about 19 ounces, 1 pound, 3 ounces of ackee, okay? And I have taken this out of the can. It's rinsed and drained really well. I also have some mushrooms here, and I am truly my father's daughter because I have what they call an indoor smoker, which really isn't an indoor smoker. I mean, it truly isn't. But I've smoked some mushrooms because I'm going to put some smoked mushrooms in there. And I'm going to use the mushrooms really in place of the saltfish. I have here on my spoon, I've got my, I'm in love. You see that? Better than. No chicken base. I love it. It has taken my vegetarian and vegan meals to another level. I love their stocks. I love their bouillons. Absolutely delicious. But that's 1/4 teaspoon of the bouillon. I have half a cup. I take that back. I have 3/4 cup of red onions that have been sliced. Here I have some orange capsicums or bell peppers. I have some yellow bell peppers here, and I have some red bell peppers. I have a teaspoon of curry powder, which is optional. You don't have to use it, but I am. I have some dried thyme here. I've got a couple of sprigs, maybe about 3 or 4 sprigs. They'll all be on my husband's plate. He moans and complains about that. I have some chopped coriander to put on at the end. I have some, not jalapenos, this is habanera pepper, which is nice and hot. I also have, I wanted something green in there, and I didn't have any green beans, which is typically what I used. So what I did was I sliced up some asparagus. Yeah, everything's falling apart here. It's all falling over. I sliced up some asparagus, so that will be in there. And of course I have green onions. Here I have about a tablespoon of garlic. And this is a mushroom seasoning. It just adds some, you know, that je ne sais quoi to the meal. I've got some black pepper that I'll be using. And of course a little bit of salt. And I have my everything's falling. I have my oil, and I'm going to be using avocado oil. So guys, let's get started. Okay guys, you can use any kind of heavy bottom pot, but you know guys, I'm all into my wok. And I've got maybe about 2 tablespoons of oil in there. You can use less and or more, whatever you desire. And the first thing that I'm going to do is cook the mushrooms. And we're going to cook the mushrooms until they're kind of golden. And again, I smoke these. I said, which is true, I am my father's child. I have an indoor smoker, which I use in the garage actually. But I'm going to smoke the, I'm going to cook these until they're golden. All right, guys, until they're golden. You can salt these at this stage if you want to, and or not. Choice is yours. I do believe that you should salt as you go, so you season in layers, so you're not just looking to season everything in one go. And one of the things that I tell people is to put a teaspoon, if you want half a teaspoon to use total half a teaspoon or what have you, put that into a container so that you are truly in control of how much salt that you're using. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to touch these. I'm going to allow them to become nice and golden and caramelized on one side, and then I'm going to turn them over. Okay. So when I get ready to turn, I'll be right back. Okay, the mushrooms are nice and golden for the most part, and I've turned them over. I'm going to turn it down just a tad. All right, you want them golden, and that's what we're looking for. All right, nice and golden. All right, guys, turn this down ever so slightly. Turn the fire down ever so slightly. Now we're going to actually start this process. Add the thyme and the onions, and if you want, you can actually take the mushrooms out if you so desire. I'm choosing not to. I'm just going to do everything in one fell swoop. So we're going to add the onions to the mushrooms with the thyme. Take the spoon and bruise the thyme up. That smells really good. Can I turn the fire up just a tad? If you need more oil, add more oil. And again, I'm just going to add that salt. I'm just going to add, and again, that was less than 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And just as you go, you just layer as you go. And what you'll find is that you won't need to use as much salt, and the food tastes really good. So I'm a true believer, you season as you go. Going to give it another hit of black pepper. Yeah. That's smelling good already. The thyme and the onion smell really delicious. All right. I'm going to add the garlic. That's all my garlic. That's all my garlic. And I actually need just a little bit more oil. Maybe about a teaspoon. Maybe about a teaspoon of oil. There you go. Smells absolutely delicious. Delicious. All right. I'm going to add the habanera peppers. And if you can get Scotch bonnet, that's the one that you would use, is Scotch bonnet. So I'm going to add the habaneras and let those cook down. And guys, it can like be overpowering. Alrighty. That cooks for about 30 seconds, a minute or so. It smells really, really good. Get that thyme in there. Alright. Right. I'm going to add my peppers. I'm going to add my peppers and the rest of my seasonings. The rest of my seasoning. And mix that up a little bit. Let that cook for maybe about a minute or so, 30 seconds, a minute. I'm going to add my coconut milk. And that is 8 ounces of coconut milk. I'm going to turn my flame up. And we're going to bring that to a boil. I'm going to add my bouillon. I'm going to add my bouillon. And again, it's really important that you check for the salt. The bouillon has salt in it. I've been salting as we go along. I'm going to bring this to a boil. Bring this to a nice rolling boil. I'm going to add my tomatoes. I'm going to add my tomatoes. My tomatoes. Alright guys, looking good, looking good. And I didn't have any green capsicums. I'm sorry guys, that pepper is no joke. I didn't have any green capsicums. I'm going to taste this, check for the seasoning. It needs a little bit of salt. Alrighty. I'm going to add the ackee and just lay it on top. I'm going to lay it on top and I'm going to cover it and allow this to simmer. I'm going to add the asparagus too. I'm going to allow it to simmer, covered for about 5 minutes until it, excuse me, until it gets nice and warm. So I'm going to turn it down and I'm going to allow it to simmer. And we'll be right back in about 5 minutes. Okay, here is the ackee. And we're now going to turn it, we're now going to stir it. But guys, it's really important to remember that it's very, excuse me, it's those peppers. It's really important to remember that it's very, very, very fragile. It's really, really fragile. So you can't go in and stir. Just gently turn it over. It has enough heat because all you're really trying to do is to heat it through. And guys, doesn't that look absolutely delicious? By the time we get ready to serve it, the asparagus, because again, I like my vegetables al dente. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like soggy vegetables. We're gonna add some parsley here. I'm gonna add some parsley and some green onions. A lot of people will cook the green onions in when they cook the garlic and the onions. Again, I like my stuff on the end. And that's it. We're going to actually serve this over some rice. Absolutely delicious. We're going to serve this over some rice. I already tasted it. It didn't need salt. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to add some coriander as well. This is chopped coriander. If you don't like coriander, you don't have to add it. But I love fresh herbs. And that's it. That's it, guys. That is it in a nut of a shell. Ackee rundown. Beautiful, creamy coconut sauce. We're going to have this over rice. And I actually thank you for joining me for this absolutely delicious dish. Very easy to make, very, very quick. I'm going to enjoy.